trends in the maritime sector. Join us on the program, Maritime Frontiers on.
It's a cold Friday in Lagos, Nigeria, where we're broadcasting from. It was a rainy night and cold morning right here. And this is a call for you to take good care of your health, because with the colds comes sicknesses. And I'm sure you don't want to fall sick at this time when it's time to make money. Welcome to VOP This Morning. I am Moses Humphrey. First on our radar this morning, ADC's alleged chief financier says anti-Tinubu alliance is doomed to fail. We'll also be looking at Labour Party as they throw Peter Obi under the bus over anti-Tinubu coalition. Well, Labour Party has been divided into factions. Some factions are for the coalition, other factions seem to be against the coalition. And also on our table this morning, exportation of doctors. Nigeria Medical Agency slams federal government over St. Lucia deployment deal. Now, these are the major conversations this morning. Welcome on board.
All right, I'm Fina Okechukwu. Like my colleague Mozirali pointed out, those are the major topics of conversation, but we have other interesting trend and stories that kept the social media buzzing yesterday and even the night before. And one of it is, is a tragic one over the fact that Nigerian football community is in deep mourning following the death of former Super Eagles goalkeeper Peter Rufai, who passed away at the age of 61. The renowned legendary saves a whole lot of goals for Nigeria, and he also played a vital role in the leadership during the golden era of Nigerian football. Rufai's death marks the end of an era. Indeed, it does, because then I could remember as a much younger me, if we come outside, people would say, I want to be Peter Rufai, I want to be this, I want to, so many persons have named they want to answer and all that. But in a heartbreaking twist also, fresh reports reveal that Portuguese footballer Jota, who died earlier in the day, that was yesterday, was involved in a fatal accident en route to a ferry just hours after doctors had advised against him flying due to health concerns. The twin losses have sparked a wave of grief and questions across the sporting community in Nigeria over player welfare, emergency response, and the lingering silence from key football authorities. In one breath, Nigerians are mourning the death of the man who saved so much goals for Nigeria during the time that Nigerians as a nation and also the Super Eagles were doing wonderfully well in any tournament they found themselves in. And although no one will say any age is okay for someone to die, but 61 years old was what he was when he died. But if we're to look at what happened yesterday in Portugal, where Jota died with a twin, just 2 weeks after the wedding, at the age of 28. That was an auto crash. And this happened after the doctor said, no, you're not fit to fly. Don't fly to anywhere. Use the road instead. And guess what? He died en route to a ferry where I believe he had other engagements he wanted to do. And I spoke with someone yesterday about this who actually happens to be a diehard Liverpool fan. And the person said, this particular loss is a grave one to them, over the fact that the man, if he's with the ball, you will rest assured that either he won't miss any chance taking or passing the ball to the person he should be to, or trying to get across to the goal post. He is actually a good player for not just for Liverpool now, but also for Portugal as a nation. And also in Nigeria, the question now people are talking about is now Peter Rufai is dead. We also learned that some persons who played in the match, I think 1994, thereabouts, World Cup. It was last month or 2 months ago that the president approved that they should be given houses and all that. And that speaks the welfare of the people who serve Nigeria with everything that they have. How are they being taken care of? How have they been, being able? I'm talking about not just them now. I'm talking about their family and every other person who have supported them for them to be able to champion the cause. It was Chuku that died the other time. And the Peter, by the governor of the Enugu state, went to pay the wife a visit and the family members visit. And he, as an entity, him as a person, trying to support them. And people were asking, what happened to the football community? What happened to NFA? What are they saying, to people like that? We've also seen videos and pictures of people who we saw before now on the screen playing ball for Nigeria, going back. Some of them are even having mental issues. Some of them are not being taken care of. Some of them are not being, they're just there languishing. And people are asking the NFA to step in, not just to use or utilize these people when they are their youthful age, but to look into their welfare, make sure that they are being taken care of even when they are no longer before the screen or there in the football page.
Oh, well, it was tragic moments yesterday, of course, for Jota's death, quite an unfortunate one. A great loss to Liverpool, I must say. Well, they say don't fly, and then you're on the road. Now, I think more investigation needs to be carried out to determine the cause of the accident. Was it due to overspeeding? Was it due to somebody else's fault? But whatever the case may be, that was a tragic loss. May his soul rest in peace. And now to Peter Rufai, Dodo Mayana. Yes, that's what he used to be called. I mean, that was the golden era of Super Eagles. Golden era. That was when, I had so much passion for football.
Don't tell me you want to be a footballer then.
I wanted to be. I mean, every child wanted to be. Every young person wanted to be.
Okay.
The Super Eagles at, US 94, the Cup of Nations, where the one we won in 94 as well. It was a great moment for Nigeria. In fact, I wouldn't say it's the end of an era because we still have some of them still alive. We still have quite a few of them still alive. Kanu Nwankwo is still alive. JJ Okocha is still alive. So these players were younger at the time, and but for the likes of Peter Rufai, I know I've done a few things for him when he started doing the talent hunt thing. He would come, we'll do the promo for the event, and then we'll interview him on radio at the time. You could see the passion. And to be honest, all of it was done free because he didn't even have the money. All right, all the times we spoke, it was like, oh, I don't have the money now. I'm waiting for sponsors, And you see, that's, there are a few things we need to address. Now, in as much as we can say, yes, the nation should take care of these superstars, these ones that, had Nigeria's flag, that basically, did the nation proud. It's the role of the nation to cater to them to a great extent. It would also be wise for a lot of them to get financial advice. Because when they are earning big, I'm not talking about Peter Rufai now, but I understand that a lot of players, a lot of athletes spend lavishly, clubbing, expensive vehicles, expensive lifestyle, and at the end of the day, these things fade away, and they have little or nothing to hold on to. So they should get financial advisors. I mean, for those that are young, that are in sports now, and entertainment as well, it would be nice to get financial advisors that will help you invest. The likes of Kanu Nwankwo is enjoying his investment right now. JJ Okocha is enjoying investment and endorsement deals and the rest. So it would be wise to get financial advice while you are earning big, so you don't run into a need later in life. Now, for the government, the role of the government, I understand that a few of them have gotten their houses before a few weeks back when Evan Ikoku got his own allocation. A few others have gotten. One whose death has really hurt me. I mean, Stephen Keshi, I beg your pardon, Skipo, died some years back, I think 2016 or thereabout. And but the one that pained me the most was the death of Rashidi Yakini. I think he still stands as one of the highest goal scorers in Nigeria with 31 goals. He is the highest. He is the highest. You know, that was an unfortunate death because there was little or no care to Rashidi Yekini after he left the national team and playing with some club in some state. There was little or no care, no intervention. And then he dies, and then people are talking about celebrating him. We should, like an artist said, I think that's Rankin. Celebrate me. He says, celebrate me now that I'm alive. So it also, falls on the lap of the governments of the day to celebrate. If houses were to be given, I think the allocation should have been done a long time ago. And all of them gotten what is due unto them. Not doing it in batches and then some are getting it almost 30 years after the promise was made. We can do better. We can do better. And also those that are young and upcoming should also do better for themselves. Quite an unfortunate one, I must say. May his soul rest in peace. Oh, well, to another conversation now. Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has donated a staggering 1 billion naira to support victims of violent attacks in Plateau State, while passionately appealed for an end to the bloodshed that has plagued the region. During her visit, she called on communities to embrace peace and stop the cycle of killings that have claimed hundreds of lives. She called on communities. However, her gesture has ignited heated public debate, with critics questioning the effectiveness of donations in the face of persistent insecurity and asking who is truly responsible for stopping the killings of Nigerians, the citizens or the government in charge of law enforcement. Oh well, we know that it is the government, the executive. It's not enough. We appreciate the donations. These donations are well appreciated. But a question to be asked is, do the people that really need these things get it? Because we see a lot of times when these donations are given, the government and the state receive them, and the people that have been driven into IDP camps don't get anything. Foods given to Nigerians driven away from their homes and taking shelter in IDP camps, they don't even get the food. Nutritional supplements and the rest that are given to them are stolen, and the cartons where these things were taken from replaced with stones. We've seen that happen in Nigeria. So it's a good thing that you're giving to the community, basically giving to the government of the state. But how much of it gets to the people? That's on one side. Another argument would be, you should, as against telling the communities, oh, stop fighting, stop fighting. No, let there be proper reconciliation in cases where reconciliation needs to be carried out. Let the government, the state government, empowered by the federal government, conduct some sort of proper reconciliation if there need to be. And where some people are trying to cleanse the communities, then let the federal government wield the big stick. Protect the people that you have been elected to protect. The major reason government exists is to provide security. All right, provide security and social amenities. If these things are taken away, then there is no need to have a government at the center. So these things are what I think the First Lady should be addressing. She should be speaking to the government, the federal government. Of course, she has the ears of the federal government, as it were. So she should be speaking to the federal government to ensure that, look, as a mother, we are tired of seeing the killings of our children, the killings of our kinsmen. Let us do something decisively to ensure that this is stopped. I think that's what Nigerians want to hear.
And some persons will ask, why is it that the First Lady at this point in time, it took her almost a month, but they're about to come up to talk about the issue of the killings that happened in Benue State. As a mother, like you rightly said, so many Nigerians were expecting or waiting for her to have actually waited in to talk about the fact that Nigerians are being killed, being massacred. There's carnages, not just in Benue State, but also in Plateau at this point in time. According to what Hyacinth earlier said, who happens to be the governor of the state, that over 1.5 or 6 million persons are now in IDP camps, and then we have 1 billion being donated by the First Lady to these people. Yesterday, someone on X.com said, why won't the First Lady donate this money to the military for them to end the issue of insecurity in Nigeria so that these people can go back to their ancestral homes and be able to cultivate, till the lands the way they've been doing, and also return Benue State back to what we used to, or what it used to be, which is the food basket of the nation. You know, rather than giving them monies or giving 1 billion that, according to them, might be an audio money and it might not really get to them or the people who needed this money at this point in time. Now, we've been talking about insecurity for quite a long time. It's appalling that every politician at this point in time will use the talk or issue of insecurity now as a first line of their campaign base, their manifesto. That's what everyone come up to talk about. The president told Nigerians that we should give him 3 months. In less than 3 months, he will be able to end the issue of insecurity. I'm talking about the farmer-header clashes in his own terms, you know. And he said that in Niger State when he went to look at the agreement between Lagos State and Niger over rice meal and its production, you know. But today we still have issues. We still have farmer-header clashes happening. We still have what people are beginning to talk about or call, you know, genocidal movements, land grabbing, ethnic cleansing, and all that still happening in Nigeria. Now, the First Lady, I'm happy that she was once a senator, and now before she became the First Lady, you know, she would have also talked to the people within the National Assembly, or even suggest to them, as someone who understands how these things are being played, tell them, or even find a way to sponsor a bill to say, we want to end this whole issue that we're having in Nigeria. Farmers should go to their farmlands after paying, or even some of them going to get land on lease. Go back to your farmlands, cultivate your crops, till the land for you to get your end produce. And then the marine headers should go get themselves a grazing land. There should be, we should have zero, when I mean zero, 0.0000 nomadic movement of headers and their cattle. This is Nigeria, a great nation where we have not heard officially that we're now moving away from all production to using, animal husbandry to be our major source of revenue generation. Yes, it's not bad. We need protein from them, but all the same, they shouldn't be destroying people's farmlands because of their own private gains and benefits. So if the First Lady have come up to say, I am going to, or rather, this is what I'm doing at this point in time to end this whole issue, it would have been better. Rather than making it look like we're having a communal clash there in Benue State. It's not a communal clash thing. People who were there have actually made Nigerians understand that this is no longer a communal clash. Even the CDS or the COS, when he moved his camp from Abuja back to Benue State, also made mention of the fact that we're getting complicit issues happening in that, or what happened that led to the death of 200 persons in Benue State. Actually, he pointed out so many things. He pointed out the fact that even some military personnel are now aiding these people. He pointed out the fact that it's more like the people gave them, wrong information on how to tackle the people that come to cause that particular carnage in the state. Now, if she had wanted to, as a mother hen, as the mother of Nigeria, if I'm to use that word, she would have actually, looked deeper into getting better solution on how to end the issue of insecurity, end the issue of the killing. I'm FINA for one. I'm against giving handouts to people who can cultivate land, who can do things and be useful to themselves. I believe the IDPs, where these people are being kept, they are, apart from the physical health, their mental health every day will be reduced. They'll be having challenges, psychologically, mentally, because they're no longer free. If I'm to use that word, they're no longer free. These are people who can take care of themselves, provide virtually everything they needed for themselves. Even as we're talking about economic, they can do that thing for themselves comfortably. But now they have to rely on people for them to go and serve plate to get food. It's a bit humanizing, if I'm to say that. But away from that also, the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON, has quietly sold the Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company, IBEDC, for 100 billion naira, sparking outrage and concerns over transparency in one of Nigeria's most critical power assets. The development comes as new figures from the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC, reveal that electricity distribution companies nationwide collected 553 billion naira in revenue out of 744 billion naira billed in the first quarter of 2025 alone, despite widespread complaint of unstable power supply. As electricity tariff rise with no corresponding improvement in service delivery, the public is demanding answers on who benefits from these multi-billion naira deals in country still plagued with darkness. Now, when I saw the story yesterday, the first thing that came into my mind, I hope there was a proper bidding for this particular, business from AMCON. I hope they did the needful. I hope the people were aware, because what I saw was a silent move to sell this particular company. And I asked why should it do it, silently? Why won't it be made known to people? You never can tell who will be interested in buying the IBEDC. Why sell it quietly? To the tune of 100 billion naira. And now another thing again is Nigerians are still battling epileptic power supply. Nigerians are also still battling the rise in tariff. I'm talking about the electricity tariff hike at this point in time. Nigerians are also still having issues with estimated billings because most of Nigerian homes does not really have prepaid meters. And these things were happening at the expense of average Nigeria, even when the country itself, have been able to benefit from World Bank, even loans and all that for a proper metering in Nigeria. The World Bank made Nigeria and other persons who happen to be in sub-Saharan Africa to understand that their projection, their GDP, yes, that's what it's been called, the SDG Goal 7 for 2030 cannot be able to achieve because of the fact that we're still having a whole lot of deficiency in power generation, power distribution, and every other thing that has to do with electricity supply. Yes, even to the hinterland. In the cities where people are being stayed, people are being said to ban A's. You're paying the bills, but you're not seeing these things. You're not seeing the electricity. Man made Nigeria understand that they've spent billions for their manufacturing alone. They've spent billions on supplying power themselves. The likes of Dangote now have to get his own electricity power supply, because they wouldn't want to depend on Nigeria and the national grid. The presidential villa also have decided to earmark 10 billion naira for the solar plants, the solar energy generation in the presidential villa, saying that they wouldn't want to be tagged or being attached or also be causing more dependence on the national grid, which we know have been collapsing or we're having a disruption here and there from them, and yet these are the things that we need to look at. But someone is saying that 100 billion naira is what IBEDC cost at this point in time. I hope the people in Badon will be able to benefit from this change in power. I hope they will have power supply now, because we know that with this particular sales that have happened now, the new person will come up to change the price. The price will still increase, even with NEC being there.
Well, I don't think so. I don't think the price can increase. I mean, it's a distribution company, so they take from the transmission companies, and and then they distribute. So I don't think the price will be affected. The price of what the people get will be affected. Those have been divided into bands. Will get the regular thing that the band gets. What I'm more concerned about is availability of power. Will there be availability of power? Well, if that is guaranteed, then all well and good. Yes, there is court cases, springing up already as regards this sale. When I saw that story, I think I learned that there was an initial negotiation. It had been sold before for way lesser than the 100 billion naira that AMCON sold. And what we have here, let's be clear, is a 60% stake sold. Yeah. All right, that's what we have. So 100 billion. But some are saying that, look, it's valued at way more than that. It's valued at about over 160 something million dollars. So the sale is even lesser. And that's in spite of the fact that this sale is 2 or 3 times more than the initial bid for the company. So AMCON came in, decided to sell it, renegotiate and sell for higher than what was proposed initially. But regardless of the fact that it's higher than what was initially proposed, it's still lesser than what the place is valued at. Quite unfortunate. But hey, the case will get to court, and AMCON is saying, look, we'll go ahead with sales, and will challenge whatever comes in court. But bottom line is Nigeria should get value for whatever it is. When properties like this are sold, how does it affect the end consumer? All right, value for money. If you are invested in a thing, you should get value for it. That's my major concern. Oh well, let's move away from those conversations now. Let's take a quick look at what the papers have for us this morning. So we'll take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll look at headlines from the dailies. Join us again. Oh yes, it will be fun to run through the cover pages this morning because we have, more dailies have stories on their cover pages as against what we had in almost a month now, having the commissioning message on most of the dailies. But here we are. I mean, I'm not hating on the papers that are making money. It's your money, make it. Oh well, from the Daily Independent. ADC coalition will set Nigeria back by decades. Presidency speaks. Says members looking for political relevance. Slams Buhari's appointees for joining coalition. Lists why ADC coalition can't mirror APC. APC describes promoters as merchants of vendetta. I wonder why this is coming from the presidency. The presidency, not the APC. I mean, there is an APC spokesperson. Should it be the APC speaking, the party itself? Anyway, we'll talk about all of this much later during newspaper review. The window headlines here. We have made oil smuggling unattractive, says Tinubu. My children have rights to own land. Wike slams opposition, defends Tinubu's tough decisions. That was done during his monthly media chat. Zenith Bank ranked number 1 tier 1 bank in Nigeria for 16th year. Senate considers proposals on electoral reforms. State police, LGA creation. Holds public hearing on constitution review in Lagos. Coalition LP slams Abure, says it gave Obi blessings to participate. 2027, why Wike is already afraid of us, by ADC. Ironwood's reinstatement, Damagum, to be remembered for presiding over PDP final funeral. Sanwo-Olu mourns ex-Super Eagles goalkeeper Peter Rufai. Oh well, those are the headlines from the Daily Independent.
And the New Telegraph is what we have to look at next. And above the masthead, tariff reform, telcos power stock market surge with 2.83 trillion gain. We have sold assets running into billions of naira. That's coming from AMCON CEO. Right, all the headlines are, we inherited near bankrupt Nigeria, says Tinubu. Right after that, FG to celebrate 250 Nigerians during 65th independence anniversary. The story is on page 3 and 5, respectively. Zenith Bank retains position as number 1 tier 1 bank in Nigeria. Usman, Abure, clash, over Obi's involvement in coalition. 7 PDP, 1 YPP, Akwa Ibom reps defected to APC. And the banner headline reads, I won't disclose details of peace deal with Fubara. That's coming from Wike himself. Says Mark failed Otukpo, Amechi buried Nigeria in debt. You are disgraced to office of minister. ADC fires back as APC presidency knock coalition says speech empty will take Nigeria backward. Anyanwure statement, Demagun PDP's Undertaker Group. Defense headquarters as a HQ, troop kill terrorist kingpin, arrest 1,191, rescue 543 kidnapped victims. Americans closely following happenings in Benue, US, UNHCR. And on the board headline on the page of the New Telegraph, INEC gives condition for election results review. Okay, the writer to that says 112 association seeks registration, promises heavy security for Anambra South by-election, commences continuous voter registration. Commercial opportunities, Trump excludes Nigeria from meeting with 5 African leaders. And the bottom strip headline, high fiber diet reduces risks for narrowed arteries. And that is coming from studies. And the story is on page 30 of the News Telegraph. And I guess that's how far we can go, taking a quick peep on the cover page of the National Dailies. Do well to join the newspaper review proper on top of the hour here on Voice of the People Television at 10 a.m. And we'll go on a quick break. I will come back or extra the first topic of conversation, which is about the 2027 coalition as cracks widens. IBEDC chief financier allegedly says anti-Tinubu alliance is doomed to fail. We'll extra this after this break. Stay with us.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOPTV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOPTV, Voice of the People Television.
Step into a world where stories unfold, secrets unravel, and dreams come alive. Every story has a legacy. Every legacy holds the power to inspire. A unique interview series that celebrates the lives of Nigeria's elder statesmen and women through their remarkable journeys in the military, diplomacy, public service, academia, medicine, and beyond. Conversation that transcends generations, offering guidance to youth leaders, diplomats, technocrats.
We are the station that brings you
And future change makers. We unveil the wisdom.
stories from the people's perspective.
We let your voice be heard. On Political Lens, we bring you deeper insights into happenings within the polity.
We create equality of representative opinion and fairness in politics, economic and diverse conversations.
Here we bring you breaking news, fresh perspectives, as well as fact-based analysis.
Watch our extraordinary shows from the People's Voice, where we get to amplify the stories and concerns of everyday Nigerians through hashtags.
To Health Check, where we share practical wellness tips and bring you deep insights from medical professionals.
Maritime Frontiers, we dissect issues on port operations and more. Every time we talk about sport, it's everything that has to do with sport, from the top to the finish. Just be with us, stay with us all of the time. We give you sporting activities just as it unfolds, and that's what we do, and that's what we are called Voice of the People TV, and you already know.
We got you all covered.
Here, you have more than a voice.
Well, the newly formed 2027 opposition coalition is facing what some will call significant turmoil, with Leke Abejide, who has described himself as a key financier of the African Democratic Congress ADC, labeling the initiative a failed project before it even takes off. Abejide, a serving House of Representatives member, criticized the coalition for its lack of structure and viable leadership, predicting its inevitable collapse. While his comments highlight growing concerns within the ADC regarding its participation in the what has been termed anti-Tinubu alliance led by former presidential candidate Peter Obi. Well, I wouldn't say it's led by Peter Obi. He's just part of the coalition. We have Atiku there, we have El-Rufai there, we have Rotimi Amechi in there as well. Meanwhile, the Ondo State chapter of the ADC has taken a contrasting stance, embracing defectors from the APC and PDP and calling for a reshaping of governance in 2027, further exposing the ideological fractures within the party and the broader opposition front. Well, to compound the situation, the People's Democratic Party has officially distanced itself from the ADC-led coalition, asserting its focus on internal rebuilding rather than alliances with smaller parties. Well, this announcement follows a wave of defections in Akwa Ibom, where several federal lawmakers have joined the ruling APC, raising concerns about the opposition's viability. Oh well, the conversation extends. It goes. It seems to be, what Nigerians are talking about. Well, we have with us right here in the studio, we have Igwebike Afocha, who is a philosopher. He's also a businessman. He's a freight forwarder and a scholar as well. But most importantly, for the essence of this program, he's a public affairs commentator. Well, good to have you this morning.
Thank you very much.
And we have also Asim Adams Esquire, legal practitioner, civil rights activist, former spokesman, Chief Beatrice Itobo, and Peter Obi campaign organization, Labour Party, Rivers State 2023, Barrister Asim Adams. Well, good to have you, Barrister.
Good morning to you. Good morning to you, my brother.
You're welcome.
Now, great. Now, with everything, with all the, let's first x-ray a statement coming from IBEDC, who is a House of Reps member. He has said that, look, in as much as he's still with the ADC, but his ideologies doesn't even align with the ADC. Those that are, that he shares the same ideology with are those in the APC. We've also had Ibeka Chukwu, who ran as the presidential candidate of the ADC in the 2023 election, come out, to say that, look, he's against all of this. But we saw the executives of the ADC at the meeting with the coalition and the handing over to David Mark as the interim chairman of the party and Aregbe Shola as the secretary. Are we going to see? Are you envisaging, or should we expect a dissenting structure like what we've had in Labour Party with Abure and Apapa, and also what we've had in other parties that attempted to house opposition?
Well, thank you very much. You see, let me first of all start from what's the name of that? Abejide. He said he's the financier. I chuckled when I heard that news. Yes, you are the financier, but I'm telling you right now that other financiers are coming into that political party, ADC. And it's even an aberration for somebody to stand up and say that I am the sole financier of a political party. A political party is an amalgam of people with same interests, ideology, etc., as case may be, coming together for the purpose of taking over government or taking power from wherever as case may be. Now, the members of the political parties ought to pay their dues, levies, etc., to run the political party. But when somebody now comes to say, I am the sole financier of that political party, that is the Nigerian situation. But right now, he has a lot of people to contend with. People like Atiku Abubakar, Rotimi Amechi, these are money bags anyway, political money bags, as the case may be. So new financiers have come in. Now, I know that he's been threatened. And I know that there is nobody that is a Nigerian that wants, to be torpedoed from a position of authority and influence. And that is what has happened right now. I believe that the ADC as a coalition is quite different from what we had when when Jonathan, they had a coalition against Jonathan. Why am I saying that it's not far-fetched? One, the coalition we have, let me even give a difference between a coalition and an alliance. An alliance is a coalition, sort of, but has plans for the future.
Okay.
It has a structure of how to share power, etc., as the case may be. If I want to enter...
It's not just about taking power.
It's not just about taking power.
And
what happened in the Jonathan era was an amalgam, a sort of an alliance between the ACN, Abure, then this Buhari, CPC. These were political parties standing on their own with different ideologies, but came together to say, let us come together and be one and do this. And renegade members of PDP who now joined forces. And when they came together, they formed a political party of their own. They did not hijack any other political party to now come under that particular platform.
Now, you made mention of hijack now,
Yes.
Barrister Asim Adams, and in the words of the man who said he's the financier, the sole financier of
Yes.
IBEDC, I'm talking about IBEDC, he said something about the fact that the people who are new intakes into IBEDC just come over to take over the prominent positions. How possible is it? Is it that ADC as a party does not have persons who are viable before now to man the activities of that party? Why then is it that just on the day of handing over, acceptance later, or rather, membership card to persons like David Mark and all that, they are being given prominent positions in that particular party?
It's like that is what, see, for instance, the ADC had a structure.
Okay.
The ADC had a national chairman. The ADC...
Who is also been having issues because people were told that his own tenure have already expired.
It doesn't matter. See, for now, yes, they have issue, but there's a structure there. He might not be that visible and prominent. They had a national chairman.
Okay.
Whether they were in court or whatever, they had a publicity secretary. They had executive secretary. They had members of the executive committee of the political party. Now, those people, what is going to happen to them? That is what the man is asking.
Okay.
Is it that with the coming of these people, the articles, the Amechi, CTC, David Mark, that we are going to just take them away like that? That is what the man is talking about. And that is what is happening exactly right now. Because if you make David Mark the pro-tem chairman or whatever the case may be, of a political party that's well structured, what happens if the party people, national chairman, the position is not decided by the court? Because the matter is in court. There's a problem in the chairmanship position of that political party. Now, what now happens if you now make David Mark the chairman of the political party, and the court now decide to say, no, it's Mr. A that should be the chairman of that political party? What's going to happen to that? Or to the party? These are issues that we need to kind of discuss. And I'm very sure that is why this Abure, whatever his name is talking about this whole thing. So I don't know exactly how it's going to work out for them.
All right, we wait to see how it will work out, because it seems like every party has some problem, and that will involve the courts. And the only party that seems to be standing strong is the ruling party, APC.
Absolutely.
Having their own way of resolving their problem. Well, let's bring IBEDC Afocha into this conversation. This alliance, well, this coalition, as it were, a coalition of titans. We have Peter Obi. A lot of people are saying, look, if Peter Obi, as long as Peter Obi is there, we will vote. I mean, I was going through social media yesterday. Some have said, as long as Peter Obi is there, we will vote. We have Atiku, who has his own supporters. I mean, he came second in 2023 election with 6.9 million votes. We also have El-Rufai, who is aspiring to be the president. He has an intention. We have Rotimi Amechi, Chibike Rotimi Amechi, who is also aspiring to be the president. So we have all of them 4 gentlemen, politicians in their own rights, strong politicians, aspiring to be the president. What do you see happening in the build-up to 2027?
First, basically, the aim of every political party is to acquire power. Therefore, the coalition, not merger this time around, has a basic purpose to change the narratives, to acquire power from the already ruling parties. And that should be the aim of every one of them. If you go in by indices, mathematically, if Atiku has 6.9 votes, which means he has 6.9 million supporters, Peter Obi has 6.1, that gives you 13 million. As against 8 points. So, you see,
That's okay.
Okay.
Those
when the 2023, before Buhari took over.
Okay, 2015.
Yes, 2013 merger took place. What they did is that they now find out one person does not have the capacity to win election in Nigeria. Because historically, Nigerian election follows a trend of everybody votes their own people. So you must build a bridge in order to acquire that power.
So is this the bridge?
This is the bridge that is being built. And this bridge is a super bridge.
What makes it super at this point in time? Because Nigerians have come up to say that
what makes it super that super bridge this time around is that all the political gladiators, the known people in politics for the past 20 years are here. And they are saying one thing with one voice.
The question I asked is, who will step down for who? Because a lot of Nigerians are saying if Peter Obi is going to be the vice president, they will not. Because the vice president basically has no place.
No.
So it's only if Peter Obi is running for the president. Now, will Atiku, who has not said that, okay, I will not run again. The last time Atiku spoke, he said, look, he still wants to be president. Ibika Amici was on television yesterday. He said, look, he still has an interest as well. He might or may not.
Yes.
We don't know for sure. El-Rufai, the last time he also spoke, has an interest. So my question is, who in your permutation will step down for who?
This has to be a party arrangement. If Atiku is going to pick the ticket, he has to convince the people that he can do what the ADC has come to say they will do. If it will be well, he has to convince the people. If we sit here and say, I am going to drink this water, and when I drink this water, none of us will be thirsty again.
All right.
I have to be able to convince you.
All right.
I have to be able to convince you. I have to be able to convince you because they agreed on one thing before coming together. However, public opinion has to be looked into. They need to do a scientific collection of data to know where the minds of people are.
Talking about public opinion now, Mr. Afucha, Peter Obi said something during the chat. He had a chat at Pali, with Nigerian youths and all that. And then during that particular chat, he said something about he's not desperate, but he wouldn't mind going for a single term. That is running from 2027 to 2031 and then hand over to the North. Now, how do you feel about that particular statement, given the fact that the North up until today still believes that it is their turn to be or the president in Nigeria?
In 1999, in this present political dispensation, there is an unwritten code of power shift from North to South and South to North. That is what makes political arrangement technically peaceful. The South does not matter who has been there. The North does not matter who has been there.
So do you think that will actually quench the test of the Southeasterners who have believed that they've been locked out? You know, if Peter Obi actually should get there and just do 4 years and then hand over.
Of course it will do.
All right, then let's take this conversation to our virtual guest. We have joining us from Delta State, where he is currently, Barrister Andrew Efole. Barrister Andrew, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Great to have you. Great to have you on the show. Now, let's, well, I understand, I do believe that you've been following the conversation, so no need to recap for you. But let's look at the 24 hours. Is it 24 or 48 hours? 48 hours given to Peter Obi by Labour Party to resign his membership of the party. And the dissenting voices within the party, the different factions say, look, we've given him our blessings. Some others saying, no, we will not, we've not given him our blessings. Okay, well, let's just touch on that briefly. All right, because that, I mean, dovetails into our second conversation anyway. But what do you see happening in the nearest future with, you know, this coming up 24 hours? And why is it that Peter Obi has not resigned his membership of the Labour Party? Is he still testing the waters with the coalition?
Well, thank you very much. The network is cracking, but I want to believe I heard you very correctly.
Okay.
Can I go on?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Now, Peter Obi is a political bigwig or stalwart that cannot just be swept under the carpet by any form of declaration or some kind of statement by some persons in a political party. If they are giving him ultimatum 24 hours to resign, and if he doesn't resign, they can only do the due process. And we all know the due process of sending somebody out of a political party. So if he doesn't resign and they believe that, yes, they want him to resign because they are now of the view that he is now trying to align with ADC to have his way, well, these are all part of the gimmicks. These are all part of the system in politics. When you know that maybe your opponent wants to, or the person you are trying to drag down has devised a method to outdo you in your political strategy, you may want to bring in one or two measures or strategy to see how you send the person away, as the case may be, or you retain the person, just like I say, as the case may be. As it stands, Peter Obi has the right to say either I remain in Labour Party or I evict Labour Party for ADC.
Okay, let's just suppose that, Barrister, let's just suppose that with what is happening now with PDP as a party, where we have Nyesom Wike, the Minister of FCT, work also for APC, even though he wrote a letter to the party before moving over to do the ministerial work and appointment. He also come up to say that he is holding on and placing all his allegiance to the incumbent president, saying that he is supporting the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But he went further to talk about, you know, that it is only PDP that holds a necessary national reach to effectively challenge the sitting president and political party. What do you have to say about it? Imagine this with Peter Obi saying that he's in support of the coalition. He has not really come up to say he's moving over to ADC, and what Wike is doing, even as a PDP member at this point in time.
You see, we don't, you know, sometimes we try to be double standard in our activities. That is why the country is not moving forward. Like even when we all know that by registration and by antecedent, Wike, the FCT minister, is a member of PDP. But his activities, you know, is a full APC member, which we all know. And the PDP has called severally that he should evict or he should leave PDP, political party, should leave the PDP. But he has not left. He's still there and doing his work under the administration of Ahmed Bola Tinubu. So if they can allow him to do that, that the same measure that is applicable, that they applied to him, should also apply to Peter Obi, particularly when Peter Obi has not said, I have left Labour Party for ADC.
How
He has not.
Sorry,
Yes,
how
he has not said so.
able is PDP
So
at this point in time, to be the only party, according to Wike, being effective enough to challenge the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration in the coming election? With the exit of the gladiators, we saw the likes of Atiku Abubakar moving out. We saw also David Mark resigning from the party to ADC, and so many other persons. How big or how effective do you think that the PDP is now to challenge APC?
No, to be candid with you, to be very candid with you, PDP is as good as non-in-existence, because the political gladiators we have there, they have all exited that party for reasons best known to them, which I also believe everybody knows. So PDP is empty. At this moment, if anything can be done, it is only this coalition of people of like mind that will be able to say, okay, we want to have a coalition of strong politicians who can, tackle the APC government in 2027. But one problem I have there is this. These same people that are having this coalition, these are the same breed of politicians that have been in governance since 1999. We know their antecedents. And if you ask me, the only person I know I can even select to say that, yes, even if the opportunity comes, you should be given the chance to do, let's give him a chance and let's give him a trial. It's only P2B, to the best of my knowledge, and with due respect to every other person. So we know their antecedents. Is it Atiku you want to talk about? Is it David Mark? Is it Rotimi Amechi? Is it Erufai we are talking about here? So we know their history. So the only person, if at all, and that was why when I heard, I don't know, I've not verified, but when I heard he said, I'm just going, if I'm given the opportunity, I'm going to take only one tenure, and I will exit the throne. I think it's a strategy. But if people take that into consideration, like for example, the Northerners may actually want to align with him and give him all the necessary support, because that was a wise decision or wise statement he has made, even though we do not know whether he will renege in the future. But for the person of Obi that I know, I've seen him severally, we've met in airport, we have discussed severally. For the kind of the Peter Obi that I know, I do not think that he's going to renege. I do not think so. So if he doesn't renege, the people of the northern part sees that, yes, he's a man of his word. One, it would have given the opportunity to the eastern people, to the southeast people, to produce a president. That one is number two. And number one, it have given the southeast people to produce a president of this country. Then number two, it will pave way for the northerners to receive because it's north and south now, as it were. It will pave way for the northerners to say, okay, we will produce the next president come the next dispensation after 2027.
All right, then. Well, all of this conversation we will continue to X-ray. We still have a few more minutes to X-ray this, and the fact that Labour Party that has been divided anyway seems to be turning its back once again on Peter Obi. As some would say, throw him under the bus because of his association with the coalition. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation.
Thank you so much for staying with us. It's still VOP this morning. A fresh storm is rocking Nigeria's opposition as Labour Party's internal crisis explodes over Peter Obi's decision to join a new opposition coalition aimed at unseating President Bola Tinubu in 2027. In a move that caught many off guard, Obi, Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate, announced his alignment with a broader political front, stating that rescuing Nigeria requires a unified, issue-driven movement beyond party lines. His decision has triggered sharp reactions from the juryless Abure-led Labour Party faction, which has issued a 48-hour ultimatum demanding Obi's resignation from the party, accusing him of betrayal and unconstitutional alliance building without party consultations. However, the crisis has taken a twist as another faction of the Labour Party, led by Nenadi Usman, rejected Abure's ultimatum, throwing its weight behind Obi's coalition move and insisting that the former Anambra State governor remains the party's best bet for 2027. The deepening divisions within the Labour Party now threaten to derail the credibility of the anti-Tinubu coalition before it even gains traction. All right, we have with us in the studio Mr. Igobike Afocha, who is a freight forwarder, a scholar, a philosopher, and public affairs analyst. And beside him is an Esquire, also Barrister Asim Adams, who also happens to be the spokesperson in 2023 for the former spokesperson for Chief Beatrice Itubo and Peter Obi campaign organization. Exactly. He's also a civil rights activist. And we still have with us, though, from Wari, Barrister Andrew Efole, a legal practitioner and a public affairs analyst. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being part of this conversation with us. Well, now, let me start off with you, Barrister Asim Adams, as a Labour Party person to start with, a card bearer of the party, and someone who also happened to be a Peter Obi organization spokesperson, though former one. What do you have to say about this particular statement made by Peter Obi, aligning with the IBEDC? And now that the Abure-led faction of the Labour Party have come up to give him a 48 hours ultimatum to say resign from the party or else you face other actions. And what Nenadi Usman said, saying that he is still their best bet for the 2027. Help us walk around this particular statement, please.
Thank you very much. You see, the Labour Party is a confused political party. It's dismembered and it's a lobotomized political party in Nigeria. Now, the Labour Party they need to understand that Labour Party has been in existence for a very long time. If I'm not mistaken, since 2011 or even more, maybe 2010 or thereabout, where this political party was formed. It was Peter Obi that brought Labour Party to prominence. And Peter Obi has a bandwagon, a movement of supporters or a swat of supporters referred to as the Obident. I am an Obident and I participated in all the activities of the Obident people and the Labour Party in Rivers State. Now, soon after that election was lost, Labour Party became a wayward political party. A party that we do not really know how a person like Julius Abure became the chairman of that political party. He's been accused of so many malfeasance, embezzlement here and there by the treasurer of Labour Party. We've had so many cases in court, you know, asking him to go. Some will say reinstate him, it is asking maybe. So it's been an affair that has been very murky and frustrating.
Sorry to interrupt. My question now is, all of that has happened to the Labour Party with the position that INEC has taken in all of this, will it play, will it affect the membership of Peter Obi in the coalition going forward?
Look, you see, Abure cannot...
Given the 24...
Abure cannot arbitrarily ask any member of Labour Party, as it were, to resign his membership. He has to follow what the Constitution of Labour Party provides for resignation.
Are you privy to that?
You understand?
Are you privy to that?
It is the same that we have with PDP, for instance. Where he should have even come in, where I thought maybe he would have said, okay, P2B is engaging in anti-party activities, by hobnobbing with ADC while still in Labour Party, and Labour Party has not officially said they are part of the alliance.
So you think that his statements he made about the ADC now is not hobnobbing with the party?
That is, we've seen visuals of P2B attending, meeting with members of Labour ADC.
Okay.
Ordinarily, even Atiku Abubakar and Amechi and the rest of them, they are playing anti-party activities to their various political parties. So if Abure wants to come under that particular plank, then I can understand with him. In the sense that the constitution of Labour Party and any other constitution says that if anybody is found of playing anti-party activities, in a summary, I'm just trying to tell you what it is that they will query, they have to write like a query to him to ask him, these are the allegations against you. Now, if he does not answer those allegations properly, a committee will be set up to look at the activities. Look at Yeso Wiki, for instance. PDP tried a number of times. Hobnobbing with APC and still a member of PDP. The question came, why can't they expel this man? Why can't they suspend him? They couldn't do that arbitrarily. The chairman couldn't do that arbitrarily because he needed to follow the constitutional provision of undertaking such. That is what I thought Abure would have done.
Okay.
But asking P2B to resign outright, for me, is an arbitrary, command. He's behaving like the Nestorian, and it's not something I can accommodate at this point in time.
All right.
So you can say P2B is playing anti-party activity, which I understand perfectly well. And if you think he's doing so, how do you not take out a P2B from the party, suspending or expelling him from the party without going through the constitutional means is what I don't understand with Abure.
Okay.
So, okay.
Let me bring this conversation back to Igwebike Afocha. Now, we have 101 parties yet to be registered, or 110, I don't know. Parties, I think 110 parties yet to be registered. One of them is ADA. And the coalition have said they will go ahead with the registration of ADA, even though they have aligned with ADC. And all of everything playing out. Is this the fear of the ADC being infiltrated, like other parties have been infiltrated, and what can they do differently?
Well, ADC is not infiltrated.
Yet.
What he have is an interest. Those leaders in the party, including the House of Rep assumed financier and the other leader of the party, is of the opinion that they were not properly consulted before the coalition process. However, politics is all about taking power. If the people in ADC can genuinely join their political parties in their ward, they can come and say that the chairman, we don't want you. The financier, we don't want you. They want a change. And take note is that ADC has been there. I don't know how many governorship seats they have won, but with this thing coming into being...
they haven't won anyone, actually.
With this coalition coming into being, be rest assured that even if they did not get the presidential seats in 2027, 1, 2, 3, or 4 states...
Now, the question I asked is, don't you foresee an infiltration? Because when El-Rufai left the APC, he did say that this government, the APC government, is infiltrating parties to ensure that they stay divided. I mean, he talked about politicians being paid monies to engage in anti-party activities. He talked about the Labour Party being infiltrated. He talked about PDP being infiltrated. And we heard that some will defect, and those that will stay within these opposition parties to ensure that the parties don't rise are even more than those that will leave. And just after El-Rufai announced, just after he became a member of SDP, we saw what happened, well, what is happening to SDP. There are crises in SDP. SDP is going through its own share of crisis now. And we are seeing Ibeka, presidential candidate of the ADC, shouting, saying, look, he's not in alignment with the coalition, joining the ADC. Leke Abejide, who is a representative of the ADC. Basically, I think there are two of them in the House of Reps, but he's the most prominent face of the ADC, saying, look, he's not also in alignment with the ADC. Do you foresee a sort of, or don't you foresee a sort of infiltration into the ADC already to further destabilize the coalition just before 2027? Could that be the reason why they're still looking at registering ADA and other parties?
Yeah, in life, you must have a lean-back system. This group of people has come together. They have their own ideology, which might not be the same with that of ADC. Now, if the people in ADC are feeling that this is our father's inheritance, if they succeed in registering another party, they can move on. They can't be just get away. That is why they need to have option B.
Okay.
And the option B is now the ADA.
ADA.
Okay. Now let me see.
Or any other political party they will register to have a fresh board of trustees. Because the issue Peter Obi is having with the Labour Party is that there are people that were there already. Some of them did not agree in his candidature because of their interest. Remember, the only thing in politics that is permanent is interest.
Interesting point to make there. Barrister Andre Foley, let's get.
I think Barrister wants to say something.
I wanted to say with due respect, sorry for cutting in.
It's okay, go ahead.
The ADC right now, as it's composed, for me, is going to be a problem child at the end of the day.
Why so?
The reason is because of the fact they said too many cooks spoils the broth. I don't know if it's still relevant today. If you look at people who are members of this particular coalition, they are renegades of different political parties. And you look at the powerhouse or powerhouses that you have inside that political party as it's composed, there's going to be confusion. I am not against them. I follow P2B. If he says and they give him the ticket, I'll vote for him. But from what I'm seeing, an Atiku Abubakar, a P2B, El-Rufai, then you have an Erotumi Amechi, then you now have people like Odigio Yegun, Osaroni Osumbo, Lorenta Onoche, Hadi Sirika, and many more, Dele Momodu, Dino Melaye. I mean, this is a potpourri or a motley of mobsters and gangsters who lost power somewhere, somehow. Political, I'm using the word open and close, who lost power somewhere, who are forming an amalgam. And they are dwelling in that dreamland that this is what happened in 2015, where Jonathan was. I don't think so. A man, I think I'm trying to remember the name of, he said, look, this Dati Ahmed said, it is not about gathering of the egos. That you need to think out of the box and work extra hard to take out a Tinubu this kind of coalition. And I support his take. Let me tell you why. When Jonathan was taking off, we had 3 cardinal points that made Jonathan out of power. The first one was that there was this agitation by the Northern Extraction Cabal, the oligarchs, that said that Jonathan completing the tenure of Yaradua and now coming back will give him an extrapolation of more than 8 years, making it 9 years in office if he's to do whatever his case may be. And they told Jonathan that he cannot continue. He has to do 1 term and step down. And 2015, let them bring in a northern man to come and complete the tenure of Yaradua. That created a problem for me in the first instance. People like Atiku Abubakar, Dati Ahmed, and the rest of them. People like this Muazu of Niger State and Sultan of Sokoto came together and told Northerners in the PDP, if Jonathan does not want to step down and allow not to continue do whatever as case may be, that they should exit PDP. And that also happened. Atiku Abubakar, with 7 governors, immediately left PDP and started hobnobbing.
Okay.
And Amechi had an issue as the case may be. So what I'm trying to say is that PDP was already lobotomized and dismembered as a political party under Jonathan.
But APC is not.
But APC is not.
Okay.
APC is getting strength.
The agitation from
No,
the north.
I'm coming. The APC is getting strength as the case may be. More governors are defecting. In the Jonathan case, governors were leaving the ruling party to other parties. And the renegade PDP called the new PDP, which formed the bulwark of what, came up from Dino Melaye and the rest of, Saraki and the rest of them came. There's no splinter group in APC right now, except maybe between now and 2027, this may happen. But as it is right now, if the ADC... But
don't you think there are aggrieved members within the APC? Those that feel that these governors...
They have left already, but I'm asking a question is this. It's not that visible. How they been able to manage us, I don't know. But as at this time, when Jonathan, whatever, was, we could see that Jonathan was not going to be as the case may be.
When you say it's not visible in Gombe State, we saw people walking out. We saw people actually trying to
Jonathan's convoy was told.
So when you say I'm talking about the internal wrangling in APC, say it's not visible.
It's not as visible as we have. So what I'm trying to say, I'm not against the ADC
yes,
as
that's okay.
Now let me tell you, if you look at what is going on right now, ADA is being registered. Assuming INEC registers ADA, a lot of these power mongers are power hungry for an ADC right now.
The switch.
We begin to switch. Atiku did it. El-Rufai did it. So how can we trust people like that? That is my grouse against some of these people there.
Thank you.
What we have,
I just feel they should allow P2B. For in my opinion, is that a P2B should be the rallying point. If it's not the watershed, then there's going to be problem in that political party. I say that with due respect.
Okay, let's
what we have to understand is what is merger and what is coalition. Merger is stronger than coalition. Coalition is for a purpose. It has a loose end.
Individuals, not
so
the entity,
in coalition we can agree we are going to vote you or this your party for president. But however, in my own state, I should retain my mother party as the governor.
Okay.
So that is different. So if these people can still work together with singular aim, because their purpose of coming together is because this government, people are dissatisfied.
Yes, with this government.
So if they can work with that purpose, it will go on. And mind you, even the present president can decide in 2026 to join ADC because it can be I said can.
So to stabilize them
can join ADC and still got the ticket there if he's going to, because what we are now talking is not about the person, but the process of doing something better.
Okay.
So that's why I'm not saying it should be P2B or it should be this or that. But tell us and convince us on what you are going to do.
All right then.
Barrister Andrew Foley, let's just you into the conversation. What do you have to say about what we've been discussing thus far, over the fact too that some Nigerians are saying that the ADC, with the coalition body actually is tilted to, is more like a little party to hold sway for it until INEC registers the ADA as a party that they believe will be the one on the ballot paper, and they can actually leverage on that to get more votes for the 2027 election.
Well, to be honest with you, this coalition, before this coalition the politicians involved, the big wigs involved, the heavyweights involved must have had an agreement on some issues, because two cannot work together except they agree. Even the Bible says so, that it is only when two agree that they can work together touching a team. Now, going by this issue of coalition we are talking about here, if this ADC is not careful, if this ADC is not careful, it may lead to balkanization towards the end or towards the period when the political terrain or atmosphere would have been well heated. And once it is balkanized, it will go down the drain again. So that is why you see that the people involved, the politicians involved, would have had an agreement to say, okay, if I join ADC, for example, what is going to be my stake? Because politics is all about interests. And that was why Harold Laswell defined politics as who gets what, when and how, and where is my interest represented, or where is my bread buttered. So all these things we are seeing here, it's not that when all these people come on board, they are going to do the magic. I do not think so, because they are all the same breed of politician. So I can tell you categorically that the first point why they are doing this is for their selfish interest. Now, the only way these issues can be resolved is very simple. Simple in the sense that, one, the parties, the people involved should have known by now that, yes, for example, we are fronting or we are feeding Obi as the presidential candidate for the party in 2027. And if we are feeding him, this is the strategy we will apply, this is what we will do, and this is what we will not do. For example, admitting people into the party. There should be stringent measure of admitting people into the party so that the party will not be infiltrated. Once the party is infiltrated, it will lead to balkanization of the party. And once it is balkanized, then automatically the party will be in problem, just like what is happening in other political parties now.
Barrister Andrew Efole, how viable do you think ADC is as a party for them to start restricting membership at this point in time? Do you think they have what it takes now to say, please, we have had enough members, we don't really need to take in more people at this point in time? Remember that people are talking about structure to be the only thing that made the Labour Party not being able to clinch the ticket, or rather to produce a president in the just concluded election in 2023.
See, let me tell you something. If I am right, I think the population of the country, over 70% is made up of the youth. The youths know what they want. That is the basic truth. And in all this lineup of politicians coming out that want to join the ADC, as the case may be, there are some of them that will come out and say they want to contest for presidency. The youth will not vote for them because we know the antecedent. But the only one person I know that I still know to this minute that if he comes out, the youth may still be willing to say, yes, we will give him thumbs up again. It's just Peter Obi. That is the truth. If not, we will just be deceiving ourselves. And if the youth stands behind Peter Obi, and we have over 70% of the youth standing with us, standing with him, particularly with what we have heard that, yes, he has said it's only going to take one tenure, then automatically the roadmap will be very, very clear for him to get there. Not minding the fact that, yes, we know that, yes, people need structure to win politics. You need politicians that are strong enough for you to get there. But in as much as you need all these people, there should be a form of, recruitment. There should be a form of measures put in place before you can enlist, despite the fact that...
So Andrew Efole, we talk about the Nigerian youth at this point in time. Are you also taking out the fact that we have youths who have been divided on the notion of ethnic bigotry? We have some persons who will not even support, another person because of the person's ethnic background. We have youths who have been divided also on religious issues too. We have youths also who have issues when we talk about the social stratification and belief in ideology in Nigeria, even with their population. Are you taking out that particular aspect?
Of course. It has been there. Even in the last election of 2023, even the one of 1999, issue of tribalism, issue of religion, issue of nationality, sectionalism, all these things have been there. But what we have to look into is this. Nigeria is growing. Nigeria is still growing, but we have grown to a stage where you can't just cajole people to do what is wrong and you think they will fall for it. But that does not mean that the bad ones will not try to perpetuate what they want to perpetuate. But if the ones that really have that objective mind, who have the mind that, yes, this is what we want, our country is at the verge of going down, and we need to revive it, we need to save it, we need to rescue it, and this is what we must do. Despite the fact that, yes, we have some youth who may have divergent view, who may be antithetical to the progressive mind. I strongly believe that what the people believe, what the progressive mind believes, will definitely subdue what the antithetical group who believe that, yes, because of one reason or the other, okay, let us drag this party down or let's drag this person down. We will not have their way. And that is why you see that all hands must be on deck. All hands must be on deck. Like INEC must be up and doing. And in fact, I'm even saying that if I have my way, there should be a bill to the effect that the president should not be the one appointing the INEC chairman. The president should not be the one recommending.
Interesting point there now. So let's bring it back to the studio for Mr. Igwebike Afocha to help react on this one. Some persons have actually accused this present administration of taking over, or rather gagging or taking every other prominent, agency that Nigeria actually needed for the 2027 election. Some have pointed the fact that INEC is no longer an independent umpire. And you know that that's our electoral body, as the case may be. And also, some persons also saying that even the judiciary too, and they're not operating again on their own, that they're working within the whims and caprices of the executive. Now, how do you think the people's vote and their voices will be heard? I'm talking about in a free and a fair manner come next election in 2027.
As far as I'm concerned, in Africa, Nigeria is one of the countries you still have the freest and fairest election, taken by indices. If you look at how the last election went, you believe me that despite the fact that Labour Party worked so hard,
a lot of Nigerians will disagree with you on that one, because when you say in Africa, what countries are you looking at in Africa? Because the last election held in Ghana was freely conducted, fairly, to the point that even INEC said, look, they have learnt a few things from the Ghanaian elections.
Botswana, so it's all about improvement.
Okay.
It's all about improvement in the era that we are committed. If you can agree with me also, you know that Nigerian election has been improving one election after the other. It's all about development.
Well, I disagree with you. I don't
Can you
agree
say
with
that
you.
about the just concluded election of 2023? Suppose that with what happened when Professor Tahiru Jega was the one in charge of INEC when Goodluck Ebele Jonathan contested the election in 2015?
So what they had in this last election is here and there technical hitch.
So how are we improving then? If INEC, with their promise, they made Nigeria that the election votes will be, will be given to Nigerians using a particular technology, the BVAS, the IREV, and all that. How then do you not say that we're improving?
Such is what Nigeria should now be clamoring. That INEC should come and demonstrate such.
Okay.
If you go to if you use your phone, you do a thumbprint, you make a transfer.
Okay.
If you go to ATM in any part of Nigeria, use your thumbprint. So, what technology are they using? At least we have people that know much about ICT. What if they are using the one that is not capable? People should be able to criticize it that this
that's exactly what
product has an error.
That's exactly what people are doing to the BVAS and the usage of IREV as well. But anyway, Barrister, let me quickly ask you this one as we wrap up this conversation now. Barrister Efole hinted at it, and I was going to ask you this question. This merger and coalition and the registration of parties, how will it work? Some are saying that this will ultimately work in the favor of APC because votes will be divided, leaving the APC, the only united front. What's your perception?
See, I am not a prophet of doom, but if people refer to me as a doomsday prophet today, let it be. I have seen signs of contrition. I have seen signs of disaster. I have seen signs of problems, implosion in ADC. I'm not wishing them bad, but that is the truth. I will not register with you, but if P2B says he's going there, I don't have anything against him. If he gets the ticket, I will vote for him, just like I did under Labour Party. I am not a registered member of Labour Party, but because P2B, I went to Labour Party and I participated in their activities. Now, let me tell you something. You see, people talk about capturing power. People talk about coalition. A coalition without electoral reforms is like building a bridge with ice blocks. The moment the heat comes, it will melt it. That is the problem we're having. A coalition of the Timber, Iroko, Obeche combined in one forest would be very difficult to take up to Tinubu. I am not a supporter of Bola Tinubu, but I want to give Nigerians 3 conditions.
Okay, let's have them quickly.
Number 1, the president appoints the INEC chairman, and he who pays the piper dictates the tone. The president, the executive arm of government, budget for the INEC. So, he can stifle funding of INEC. The president, like Jonathan did, can influence National Assembly to postpone the election in Nigeria. February 14 election 2015 was shifted to March 20-something. Did we complain? So the president has enormous powers. The president is in control of the IG because they run election day activities.
All right, then.
The president also is in control of the DSS, Army, etc. because they patrol and do whatever they want to do, except he does not want to use those powers. Now, coming to the election, whatever. Okay. Coalition, Obi is the president, candidate of ADC. What has happened to section 61, 60, 62, 63?
Tell us quickly, please.
Electoral Act. What has happened to electronic voting? What has happened to INEC guidelines that were not used? That section 38, 39, sub 1 of the guidelines said that transmission of results shall be by electronic mode. But INEC came up and said there are glitches. And when we got to Supreme Court or the tribunal, as case may be, my candidate, Obident lost at the Court of Appeal, and she was now bamboozled to now withdraw that case at the Supreme Court.
All right, then.
Now, look at what happened. The question they were asking is this. If you say there was rigging somewhere in your area, you have to substantially prove it in accordance with section 134 or something of 133, 134 of the Electoral Act. That whenever I say there's rigging, for me to prove it, I must bring in evidences from all the polling units in those particular areas. These things have not been dealt with. That is difficult to achieve.
All right, then.
What has not happened to, I think section 63 of the Electoral Act that says when beavers is having issues, when the beavers is having issues, you take it, you bring a second beavers, and he's having issues. But if these two the equipment are still having issues, you shift the voting for that period for 24 hours. Then if you now come back and the same issue of glitches is still there, you now use the incident form. I don't know if you understand. So all these things we come to know. That is, I'm talking about, I'm marrying this thing, coalition and electoral reforms. What now happens also, to the extent that section 287 of the 1999 Constitution that gives electoral tribunal concept to talk about election. Has it been amended? If it says that you swear me in a fraudulent election, I'll become president or governor, then court to be trying my whatever.
Barrister, in everything, leeway to the electorate, to the Nigerian that will go out and cast their vote. It seems like whether you cast your vote or not, you've lost.
You've lost. So what we need to do in order to do this and kill this is that we have to reform that electoral act. We still have 2 years. It has to be. We have to amend them.
All right, then, reforming the electoral act.
So making that electronic transmission of results from the polling unit should, if it does not come through, that particular is cancelled.
All right.
That was happened to Obi lost an election.
All right then. Okay. Electoral reforms. That's what Barrister is clamoring for. Well, we must, at this point, we go into our third conversation, but we have to let the businessman, Igwe BK Afocha, who is a freight forwarder. Yes, businessman. You're a businessman, aren't you? We have, philosopher, scholar, and public affairs commentator. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you
for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Well, we'd like Barrister Asim Adams and Barrister Andrew Efole to stay with us as we get into another conversation. We'll be talking health.
Ordinary shows from the people's voice, where we get to amplify the stories and concerns of everyday Nigerians to hashtag
to Health Check, where we share practical wellness tips and bring you deep insights from medical professionals.
Maritime Frontiers will dissect issues on port operations and more. Every time we talk about sport, it's everything that has to do with sport, from the top to the finish. Just be with us, stay with us all of the time. We give you sporting activities just as you unfold, and that's what we do, and that's why we are called Voice of the People TV, and you already know.
We got you all covered.
Here, you have more than a voice.
Well, the Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, has expressed strong disapproval of the federal government's recent agreement to deploy Nigerian doctors to St. Lucia, describing it as an ill-conceived move that undermines the country's healthcare system. Well, NMA President Dr. Uche Ojemma criticized the government for prioritizing foreign partnerships over addressing the pressing needs of Nigeria's own healthcare sector, which is already grappling with a shortage of medical personnel and inadequate resources. The NMA argues that instead of exporting doctors, the government should focus on retaining qualified healthcare professionals and improving local facilities amidst ongoing brain drain exacerbated by poor working conditions. Now, this deployment deal, let's talk about it. We have with us in the studio, joining this conversation, is Dele Fanimo, who is a seasoned reporter, public affairs commentator, a VOP analyst. Thank you very much for joining this conversation. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
And also, Barrister Asim Adams stays back. Thank you very much, Barrister. We also have another barrister, Barrister Andrew Efole, who is joining us from Delta. Thank you very much, Barrister, as well. Now, let me start off with you, Mr. Fanimo, as we talk healthcare. Now, the president went to, I don't know if he has left St. Lucia, but he was, I mean, he's now a knight in St. Lucia. Yeah, congratulations to the president. But this deal, there's a deal that has been signed. This deal states that Nigeria will provide doctors, medical practitioners, to St. Lucia. That's under the Technical Manpower Assistant Program. Technical Manpower Assistant Program, where some doctors will be deployed. Some have been sent already to St. Lucia. And then they will be paid, those that have been sent will be paid about in the range of a little over 40 million per annum working with St. Lucia. While doctors that are from St. Lucia, in St. Lucia, earns about 131 million per annum. Doctors back home in Nigeria are receiving about 11 million per annum, approximately. What do you make of this deal that seems to encourage brain drain? Because if those that are being sent abroad are being paid higher than those that are working here in Nigeria, and we know the ratio, doctor to patient, is quite low. We're still clamoring for more to come in. What do you make of this government deal?
It's a whole lot, and it's a mixed bag. You understand? And I will start by telling you that brain drain is not likely to stop soon. And I'll tell you why. If you have contact with some of these doctors that are packing their bags and leaving this country, it's not just for the money alone. It's for keeping abreast with latest technology in healthcare. Do you know that there are some surgeries that are performed through laser lens abroad, but we still have to go through the knife here? And do you know that if not for some foreign diagnostic centers, there are some, even MCR and all that, brain scan and all that, the equipments are not readily available in our public hospitals. And these are basic tools. Do you know that what now happens is there are some NGOs now that would go abroad and bring those outdated technology and come and give us here in Nigeria? That you can see the gap. What has been put aside as scrap are now being brought to us and we celebrate.
Okay.
So technically, if you look at all those factors, in the face of all this, how would you stop doctors from going to where they will better serve humanity and they'll be exposed to latest technology in medicine and healthcare? That's one. Okay. Now, the second part of it is, rather than go through illegal routes, if these people have the opportunity of going to Lucia legally, why not?
Now this time around, they are sponsored by the government.
Legally. What makes it illegal for someone to say, I'm leaving Nigeria for another country because of the fact that I don't think that my welfare is being, it's going to be taken care of at this point?
What I mean by illegal,
all right,
some of them, they go through the sea, Mediterranean Sea.
Okay, mean the route that they take.
That's what I'm saying. And so they are not properly documented in the host country they have moved to. Okay. We have some of them that are still hiding now in America because of Trump.
Interesting one.
Now, if you now have a legal route that would expose you to some of this latest technology, do you know that some of the best hospitals in this world is in Cuba? And what is the GDP of Cuba compared to that of Nigeria? So what we're saying is, if government of Nigeria will not allow these people to breathe and they have another opportunity elsewhere to breathe, they will go.
Okay,
and how much are you paying? How much are you paying these people?
All right, okay. Now, shouldn't we be clamoring for extra pay? Shouldn't we be clamoring for extra pay? Anyway, that's
No, let me quickly answer that. You see, clamoring for extra pay. I've always said this thing here, maybe because I'm a trained HR person. Okay. Salary is the 5th in the hierarchy of need of a worker.
Okay.
So the more you pay, and you are not giving me facilities. It's just like you are here now. You don't have microphone. You have to shout at the top of your voice for anybody to hear you at home. So and they are giving you good salary. You at a point you get to a point that you say, what is salary when I cannot practice my profession?
All right, then, Barrister, let me quickly come to you now because we're working within a limited time frame. Now, this TMA deal also enables Nigeria to send teachers to St. Lucia. Agriculturists to St. Lucia and other professionals willingly to serve, a 2-year volunteer term in St. Lucia, and they will be paid by the Nigerian government to serve in those countries. Meanwhile, a lot of professionals here in Nigeria are poorly paid. Isn't this some sort of slave trade, modern day slave trade?
Well, I think for me, the idea of the president is good. People call it brain drain, but I don't call it. I don't call it brain drain. I call it vertical drain. And public-private, how do they call this? Hospitals or healthcare.
Oh, okay.
It is a battle between the best doctors are in Nigeria here, but then the private hospitals. Let me tell you, people just think, you all sit down and say brain drain. Which brain drain? There's one big hospital in Ikeja here that was established not quite 2 years. It has some of the best surgeons, but it's very expensive. You understand the point now? So it's not about brain drain. That is why the health sector is not moving well. No, it's facilities and training. Their salaries. Because you find that some of the doctors, some of the doctors you have today who are well known all over the world are in Nigeria here. I would have given, for example, a personal one. When I had to go and I was to do my surgery, which was a life-threatening surgery, as the case may be, you know what happened? People recommended I go to India, some say US, some say South Africa. When they calculated the money in dollars, or naira, I mean, it was huge. But a friend came to me and said, you can do this in Port Harcourt here. We have a place where you can run this. Even for less. Do you know, I got to that particular hospital, and the doctor, the surgeon that worked on me, is a Nigerian surgeon. He even led 2 Indian surgeons that were in the hospital. So the problem we are having in the healthcare sector is not brain drain.
Okay,
it's not issue of brain drain. What we have in the healthcare sector is that most of our best, medical practitioners are in the private sector because they are not well paid at the public health, section. They are not well trained at the public health section, whatever it's going to be. So let it for travel out.
Former President Buhari is currently in Europe receiving treatment. Pardon?
Yes.
Okay. Europe, same difference.
No,
receiving treatment. Receiving treatment.
Yes.
That has always been his hospital.
Some have said, why not stay here in Nigeria? So here we are, moving doctors away to get slightly better paid, but still underpaid compared to those that they're going to meet over there that will be earning approximately 131 million naira per annum over there in St. Lucia. They'll be earning 40, and those back home is around 11 million. How do you
those working in the private public sector?
Unfortunately, we are
maybe earning 11 million, but the private sector people and they have breakaway. Then finally, let me just tell you reason why Buhari and Tinubu can travel abroad. The Nigerian man's mentality and that penchant for foreign whatever. Let me tell you, people buy bread from France not come and eat. People dry clean their clothes. Nigerians love. People all of us sitting down here. If we have the opportunity and you have the means, many of us will not want to eat Nigerian food. You order them from French fries.
Okay, let's Barrister Andre Foley give us his own take on this one.
Let's have our concluding thoughts.
We have a problem in the country.
Barrister Andre Foley, let's have your thoughts on this one. Let's make it brief. Thank you very much.
I think the medical field, just like every other field in Nigeria or profession, everybody is yearning for greener pasture. There is nobody that will say that it's a better pay or a better package is being put in place or earmarked for him or her being a professional. He will not jump at it. Everybody will jump at it. Depends on how you look at it and depends on the angle you are coming from. Some may be working for money, some may be working for passion, but I can tell you that the bottom line of it all is that it is money. Now, in this deal which we are discussing, I strongly believe that, the NMA should be overhauled and looked into properly. These are a group of persons who are in charge of our lives and property. That are in charge of the lives of the people. And for an institution or for a body or for an association that is in charge of the lives of the people not to be properly taken care of, not to be properly given the adequate attention, any slight opportunity they see or they have, they may move. And that was why you saw that I think about 2-3 years ago, there was an exodus departure. And that was where this English, this native language, or this slangs came on board, Japa syndrome, where you see doctors stepping out of the country, moving out of the country for greener pasture. So the point I'm trying to make here is that let there be an inward, assessment of this medical profession. Let there be an inward assessment. Let the government be more interested in that aspect. Once that is done, it will help to ameliorate, but it will not wipe it out completely. That is the truth. If anybody is telling you that it will wipe it out, the person is just telling you lie. It will not wipe it out. It will only reduce the exodus departure of medical doctors to foreign countries where they believe that, yes, if they get there, they pay them better than the amount they are receiving here in Nigeria. So that is just the point I actually want us to look into. And if this deal between the federal government and this solution people we are talking about here now, to me, from what you are is technical manpower to save life over there. And just like what my learned friend said, in the course of his presentation, you cannot see something that is better than what you are receiving, and you say you will not go for that. You will definitely go for that. But in all, let there be a way of balancing this whole thing so that we don't lose all our men, we don't lose all our medical practitioners. We don't lose them to foreign countries. Let's equip our hospitals. Let's equip all the things that need to be equipped. Let's have modern facilities.
Unfortunately, yes, we've exceeded the time on the show. Thank you very much, Barrister Andre Foley. Thank you for joining the conversation. Big thanks also to Barrister Asim Adams, who is a legal practitioner, civil rights activist, former spokesman, Chief Beatrice Etubo, and Peter Obi Campaign Organization, Labour Party, Rivers State 2023. Thank you very much. Also, we've had Dele Fanimo with us in the studio. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time and your thoughts. That's it on the show today. I'm Moses Humphrey. She is Fina Okechukwu. Newspaper Review comes up next. Join us again. Bye for now.